Welcome to the Clarksville Now candidate forums for the November elections. I'm Editor-in-Chief Chris Smith, and today we'll be speaking with the candidates for State House District 68, which covers the east side of Clarksville and Montgomery County. The candidates have been given the questions ahead of time so they can prepare. The candidates are Aron Maberry and Garfield Scott. Welcome, gentlemen. If you could tell us a little bit about yourselves and your qualifications to serve in the General Assembly. We'll start with Mr. Scott.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. My name is Garfield Scott. 5 generations of Scott's family here in Clarksville, Tennessee, lifelong resident. Used to be a farmer and a truck driver. I'm running on issues to unite people, not divide them like the GOP does. The Good Old Boy Network is alive and well in Clarksville. It is why we have all this construction, but no road improvement. There is no vision for the future. I decided to make my job to bring the right people together and fix issues for Clarksville now and for our children and grandchildren. I have a vision for the future.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Mr. Maberry?
Yeah, I appreciate the time here, Chris and Clarksville Now, for having us today. My name is Aron Maberry. I'm a husband of 18 years. Have 3 amazing kids, all that attend our schools here. I am a Clarksville native. What qualifications I have to serve in the General Assembly? I have won the Republican nomination for District 68, and I have personally door-knocked over 2,000 doors here in Montgomery County. I've spoken to many of you face-to-face and have earned your guys' nomination for this seat. I've earned also the endorsement of Governor Bill Lee and Deputy Speaker Curtis Johnson. I've served several years here as an elected official on the school board, and we won School Board of the Year back in 2023. I've been elected twice now, and I've served in our community for over 20 years, right under 20 years. And most of the time here as a pastor here in Montgomery County over in Mosaic Church, which I'm actually excited that we just found out we are the 33rd fastest growing church in America. Helped in the tornado relief. I've passed budgets for our church and for the school board, with our general fund being over $444 million. I've had to work with others to get things done, and I'm ready to work for you.
Thank you. All right. And the first issue question, we'll talk about some of these. We'll start with you, Garfield. Probably Clarksville's biggest growing pain has been its lack of road infrastructure, and most of the problems are on our state highways. What would you do to help ensure that we get adequate highway funding in Montgomery County?
Here's the thing about Clarksville. We want growth here in Clarksville, but it needs to be managed in the right way. Our infrastructure is a mess. Projects are started with no vision for how to bring them to completion. It's going on for years, like the Madison Street project that was started in 2021 and is still not finished. There is apparently no plan to get it completion. It's like building a house. You don't start it without a blueprint. We don't have the blueprint here in Clarksville for the infrastructure. We have a surplus of money here in Tennessee that is not being used to fix our current infrastructure and build an infrastructure for the future. We also have the Infrastructure Act federal money that is not being put to use here in Tennessee. And that's a main point right there. It's not being utilized because they're playing politics with that. I plan to bring the right people together from the state and local transportation division to get the city, state people together in the same table and move the right direction and invest in our infrastructure. Together, we will develop a vision that works for the people of Clarksville, Montgomery County. I will bring or support legislation that aim to bring real solution to our infrastructure here in Montgomery County. I will personally get involved to bring the Madison Street project to a close within 6 months. I will unite people together, civic, local government, and state department transportation to the governor to set goals to get things done the right way. It is all about leadership and uniting people. I am the right person to lead that project in District 68, State Representative 68, Garfield Scott.
Thank you. Aron, same question. What would you do to ensure we get adequate highway funding?
Yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Clarksville's growing if we like it or not. We've grown 32% in the last 14 years, and we've grown 14,000 people in the last 3 years. So with this information, we must work on advocating for our infrastructure. More people are coming, and they're going to continue to come, and it's going to continue to bog down our roads. The Tennessee Modernization Act, of course, was passed. It was $3 billion given out. And here in Montgomery County, we got over $807 million. I love what Senator Bill Powers says time and time again. We're out to get our unfair share of money for Montgomery County, and they've been doing a great job with that. They get the most in this region. We must work with our colleagues in the region to help champion this cause. So going out to Cheatham County, Robertson County, all the way up to Nashville to make sure that as we've already got funding for I-25 to be expanded 6 miles past exit 11. Also, we got funding for Trenton. And as Mr. Scott just said, we are finishing out Madison Street now. We need to make sure that 24 gets expanded all the way up to Nashville. And they did get some funding for the other side to come this way. So we need to make sure to work with everybody to get things accomplished. I know how to bring people together for a common cause through relationship to make things happen. And I believe I can do that here on the state. I would also like to circumvent state dollars to come here in Montgomery County for our local highway department to maintain our roads. They get blamed for the potholes here in our state roads. So why not give them the money to fix it? And I believe they could do it in a faster way here in the county. We could work on projects. And I also have spoken to our highway supervisor, and he would love for this to happen. But this will help as our population continues to grow. We need a petition for our unfair share of tax dollars here and push ourselves to the front of the line. We also have a unique community here. We're a military community, and we need to stand combat ready, and our infrastructure cannot stand in the way of that happening. We need to consolidate under four solid Republicans here, and I'll also encourage our city and county governments to have a legislative day on Capitol Hill to speak to our growth as soon being the fourth largest city in Tennessee. I'm advocating for nonstop and keeping you guys informed. And I believe I would be the best choice for your state representative to lay the groundwork to get this done for you.
Thank you, Mr. Maberry. So next question here, Mr. Scott. Tennessee has banned access to abortion, but there have been calls to allow some exceptions. Do you support any exceptions to that abortion ban, and why or why not?
Yes. On the infrastructure thing, I'm going to go around. On the infrastructure, the GOP's been in control of this for 14 years. If there's a problem here and they still want the job, I think there's a no-go right there. They've already been in control of this situation for 14 years, and they have dropped the ball on this infrastructure problem. The previous administration and all, they didn't fight hard enough for Clarksville, Montgomery County to get the dollars that we need here, and that's what we need, a new vision for that. I support a woman's right to choose that do with her own body. I would support reinstating Roe versus Wade at the federal level. Abortion is an essential part of women's health care. Listen to that. Their health care is not just about abortion. That's what people try to put that wedge issue in there all the time. Women are being hammered through not being able to hampered by not being able to access medical care. There is no doubt Tennessee abortion ban is putting pregnant people's lives and future fertility at risk. Doctors are leaving or not coming to Tennessee due to legislation which has created healthcare deserts where there is no access for OB/GYN providers. We need to put our money into improving mental and infant mortality and child poverty in Tennessee instead of inserting government into our personal health care decisions. Government doesn't need to be in our bedrooms and that's between that woman and her physician. That's a health care issue between that woman and her physician. That's where it should be at all the time. I support programs that assist families with young children, such as paid leave, affordable child care, affordable housing, and health care for women and children. I mean, no government should be in my bedroom telling me what to do. That's a personal issue with them and their physician. That's my opinion about that. And that's the majority of people in America opinion.
All right. Same question, Mr. Maberry. Do you support any exceptions to Tennessee's abortion ban, and why or why not?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. Mr. Scott here just talking about women's health care equating to abortion. That is not the same at all. Many women I know would be offended to that statement. It's really a faith issue to a lot of people. It's a life issue, and I am pro-life. Dobbs pushed this down to the states, and the states have been making the decisions. And we here in Tennessee have the heartbeat bill, and it protects the unborn child at 6 weeks gestation age who have a heartbeat, and also protects up to 8 weeks for those beyond that. These provisions in the heartbeat bill have affirmative defense for medical emergencies. So I believe it's all written there in the bill and stand by the bill. As an advocate for life, I also wholeheartedly advocate for legislation to lower the cost for adoptions in our state. I feel like that is something that we should very much be pushing for. In that it affects here my family. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law have just recently adopted the last couple of years. My mother-in-law was adopted. So it's near and dear to our hearts, but we would love to see that expanded and take away barriers for people to adopt here in the state. Also, I stand to strengthen our foster communities here, which is also close to our heart. As a pastor of Mosaic Church, we love the foster care community. Every year we do a huge drive to raise foster care awareness in our church. And we have answered the call here, working with the Department of Children's Services. A couple years ago, we found out that children sometimes would have to stay overnight in office space at DCS. It broke our hearts. We felt like we could do something about it. Long story short, we built a home. It's called Kiana's House. And Kiana's House now is a safe place transition home for kids in foster care here in Montgomery County. And I just absolutely love it and excited to help drive those causes. And lastly, I'm excited to say that I've been endorsed by Tennessee Right to Life here in Tennessee.
Thank you. All right. The next question, we'll start with you, Garfield. While Governor Bill Lee's school voucher program died in the last session, it's likely to come back on this session. Do you support school vouchers, and why or why not?
I do not support school vouchers. And my good friend Allie Phillip running in District 75, had an abortion. But the baby was already stillborn before she had to leave the state of Tennessee to go to New York to get that situation covered, because there's no exceptions for these wild and insane rules and laws they have in the state of Tennessee. A woman's right is a woman's right. It's a medical issue. It was a stillborn. It was already knew that the infant was already done passed, but she had to leave the state to go get that situation taken care of because of this law was in Tennessee. There's no exception at all. And I think it should be rolled back, like I said, Roe versus Wade, and turn it back. The president, he's up there shifting his policy on what he's talking about now. Every time you turn around, this state asks him something, his policy is over here. You ask him that over here, his policy is over there. You got to be certain and concrete when you start making decisions about people's lives like that. I do not support school voucher. It is completely scam and a pet project of my opponent and the governor. We've already shot that bill down once, that voucher program. Now, the voucher program has been pushed on us many times. It is not popular, and even our legislature do not accept it. Yet the governor and he is still trying to ram it through. Take Montgomery County and outside PAC paid $750,000 in ads against another Republican in the primary election. It is favored the pro-choice candidate. You have to question why they're spending so much money to influence our election. Bill Lee voucher program is a scam to divert public taxpayer funds out of public schools and into private schools. School choice already exists. They already exist. If parents want to send their kids private to school, they should do that. In the other states, these programs mostly used by wealthy families. Test results do not improve. Vouchers are mostly used by affluent families with children already in private school. The programs proposed in Tennessee will not cover the whole cost of private school. Under Bill Lee, the scam program, $10,000 vouchers will be given to families with no income in limit. This is government assistance for wealthy.
Thank you, Garfield. Same question, Aron. How do you stand on school vouchers? Do you support them? Why or why not?
Yeah, I've been very vocal on this. I support private, public, parochial, microschool, homeschool, and charter schools all as viable forms of education. And I support Governor Bill Lee's statewide call for school choice. Not only do I support the legislation, I've been the most outspoken elected official in Montgomery County on school choice. This is not just my view, though. I've said in the past, the Beacon Center has done a study. 67% of Tennesseans want school choice right now. 67% of people, or 67% is the number of people who drink coffee daily. So school choice is as popular as our daily cup of joe in the morning. Among Republicans, it's 85%. We actually wrote it into the Republican National Platform that we're a party of school choice. President Trump has talked about this, And our own governor was invited to the Republican National Convention to talk about this. Even amongst Democrats, the study showed it was 56% Democrats. I actually just recently spoke to somebody 2 weeks ago that was making calls over at the Democratic party here locally for a candidate and realized that they were against school choice and then decided not to make phone calls anymore because they had sent their kids to charter schools here in Nashville and they thought the charter schools were very great for their kids. I believe parents should have the right to choose what's best for their children's education by using their tax dollars. And also, let me say that me and my family, my wife, we choose our public schools. We think they're great. I love Clarksville, Montgomery County, and I'm a school board member, and I've done so much for our public schools here in Montgomery County, and I'll continue to do so. I'm the only elected official in Montgomery County who has voted for school choice. We need to fund people, not specific systems. And we also are seeing a movement across right now 28 states that have some form of an education savings account, so school choice. As former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice recently said, and Governor Lee has echoed, that education freedom, school choice, is a civil rights movement of our time or issue of our time. With this expertise I have in education from working on our school board, I will be a leading voice in the state legislature to achieve school choice for the residents of Montgomery County and Tennessee. And when you elect me for state representative in District 68 this August.
Thank you, Mr. Maberry. So let's address any other issues that you wanted to talk about or any closing comments. You'll have up to 2 minutes each. Garfield, Scott, we'll start with you.
All right. Like I said, my name is Garfield Scott, 5 generations of Clarksville, Montgomery County. Send me to Nashville. I would make sure vouchers don't pass, vote to keep guns out of the classroom, work to bring the right people together to fix Clarksville infrastructure and hold DOT fees to the fire to get our projects completed on time. Make sure corporations keep their promise and pay their fair taxes. My opponent is well funded for sure, but we can win through people power. We can win through people power. It doesn't matter how much money they try to spend like they did Joe Smith. They lied about him with commercials and all that kind of stuff. And Joe Smith is a great person, him and his family. I met his mother. His mother and him are fantastic people. I'm not, I don't agree with 100% on nothing what they people say or don't say. But Joe Smith, with the commercials that they ran, just slandering him like that, he even got up in Cunningham and said, disputed those things because they was just flat out right lie. Talk to your neighbors about issues that unite our community, not divide it. Early voting is in October 16th through 31st at the Election Commission at the airport. Election day is November the 5th. Vote for Garfield Scott for Tennessee 68. And like I say, Joe Smith is a great person. He's a Republican, but he had great ideals too. And when the governor put his thumb on the scale, they usually wait till the primaries are over before they start endorsing somebody. So that was automatic, doing things against their rule. But they say they are ruled by. And when you start breaking rules like that, little small rules and regulations like that, you'll do it all. It doesn't matter who you are. But this outside money that comes in here in Clarksville, Montgomery County, they're trying to purchase this election, not get out and talk it and earn it like I do. I'm out here earning it. I knock on doors each and every week, and I'll constituents say, thank you for coming here and talking to me. But they're trying to purchase this election, and I think it's totally wrong. Garfield Scott for Tennessee 68.
All right. Aron Maberry, any final thoughts or other issues that you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, I believe there's a stark contrast between me and my opponent in this race. He just talked about going knocking out doors. I guarantee I've knocked more doors, talked to more people. I've got more supporters in this race. I have really been out there to work in our community to get things done. I went by a sign recently of his and it said, vote for common sense. And I agree. We need to vote for common sense. And I've been saying this time and time again, and I love it. I am a common sense conservative. I have 2 daughters, a daughter who wrestles and plays flag football. And I believe, as a common sense conservative, that men shouldn't compete in women's sports. We should live within our means, and we should not have tax increases. I'm a common sense conservative who believes that life begins at conception. Parents should be in the driver's seat of their children's education and not the government, and that we should fund patients, not insurance companies, and repeal the certificate of need law. I'm a common sense conservative who believes our infrastructure needs to be advanced faster, and with more creative solutions, that we need to secure our border, combat illegal immigration and crime. I'm a common sense conservative who is a member of the NRA, TFA, GOA, and will protect the Second Amendment. Overall, we need to create small, limited, and efficient government. I will fight for conservative values in every decision I make as I represent you. For nearly 20 years, I've helped people in their best and worst moments develop leaders and brought people together. Now, standing at the threshold of representing District 68 in the state legislature, I'm more convinced than ever that our community deserves unwavering dedication. And I believe I would be a great state representative representing you well and making you proud. And I will be a conservative voice for this new generation of Republicans here in the state legislature. I ask you for your vote in the upcoming general election on November the 5th. I'm also will be nobody's yes vote. I will be your vote. I want to push against liberal agendas in our government. If you want to push against liberal agendas in our government, go to votemaberry.com, support me on social media, and join me for my next campaign event at the Emerald Clarksville with Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, the author of Mayor Kane, on Friday, October 4th at noon. Again, go to votemaberry.com for more information on that. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. Thank you for discussing the issues, and thank you especially for stepping up as community leaders. No matter how the election goes, it's important that we have local leaders involved in the democratic process, and you have our gratitude for that. A reminder that Election Day is November 5th, and early voting begins October 16. Be sure to vote.